What's up, guys? It's Z-Man. Of course, weird vlog. You know, not a gaming video, which is unheard of, right? I mean, I've done them before with the goodbye beard and all that good stuff, and I know you guys have asked me to do a vlog. Well, you really haven't asked. You asked me if I'd ever do them and stuff, but yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Put this mic in front of me, I guess. Make it a little closer, a little louder. But anyways, I just was looking around. You guys know I play a lot of the older games, and you know, I'm always adding to my collection. So I got you know, just the internets, and I know it's nothing special. I mean, it's not like super rare or anything. It's just I find it interesting to you know, come across good deals and stuff. And one of my first packages actually arrived today. I'm not sure what it is. I just picked it up. So let's see what it is. It's all Nintendo based at this point, so it's gonna be either games or console. A little bit of a large box, so I'm thinking it might be the console. But then again, it could be the games just you know, all packaged up. But we'll see. We'll get in here. Might be a slew of things, because I ordered it all from the same place. So let's see what we got going on in here. Big old box of stuff. I could have been all like, fan people sent me stuff, but not really. Nice. Is this all of it? Did they send it all in one go? I think they did, which is pretty neat. So let's just start with some stuff. Yeah. Set you down here. Like I said, it's all Nintendo based. It's all pre-owned, of course. Nothing new or fancy about it. But you know how I've been playing the Castlevania series, and I've got all three. I'm playing the third Nintendo or NES game now, but they didn't stop there. They continued on into the Super Nintendo. So with that, I've got Castlevania 4, and then I know there's another one, Dracula X, Castlevania Dracula X, I think is the next NES game in the title. But as of right now, I've got Castlevania 4. So once I finish 3, we'll be moving right on into 4. Let's see. I also picked this up just because I played it a long time ago. If I remember correctly, it wasn't like the best of games in the world, but I got it for nostalgia, pretty much. No Super Nintendo. Mario's missing. If you guys ever played that, if you remember, it wasn't the greatest Mario. Well, actually, Simon, that's my box. But it wasn't the greatest game in the world, but it was based on Luigi, and doesn't have a back. Like, always, like when I buy this stuff online, I always wonder if the thing is like legitimate or not. But like, I'm buying it from like a reputable game site, and they do not do not repos, like retro cards or fake cards or anything, homebrews and stuff like that. They do not do those, and that's the reason I went with this site, for the simple fact that they don't do that. Because if I'm paying retail price, you know, I want it to be a legitimate cart. But this actually don't have a little back sticker on it, which is interesting because I've never seen that before. It's clean back cart. Let's see. And I've played it before. I've rented it. I've borrowed it, but I've never actually owned it. And if I remember correctly, this is the biggest cart, like memory-wise, Nintendo ever made for the Super Nintendo, which is Super Metroid, which is the third installment in the series for Metroid. And you guys know I played the first Metroid for the channel. This one has a back card, but it is all kinds of rough shape. I don't know what people do sometimes, but just rough shape. Like, I would never treat my cards that way. But also, I own one of these. I actually have one back at my mom's house, but it stopped working. I let someone borrow it, and they kind of abused it, I think. But it's called a Super Game Boy, and what mine entail is obviously your Game Boy cartridge went on top, and you put it in your Nintendo or Super Nintendo, and you could play your Game Boy games on the big screen, which was a lot bigger, but it wasn't like full screen. It had like a border around it, and player 2 could draw on the screen, and I have fun stories about that, which kind of segues into the game that I used it most for. I'm actually really surprised everything showed up. Last time I ordered some stuff, it came in like each was their own little box, and I waited for like 2 weeks or something. But it's Super Metroid, or well, not Super Metroid, but it's Metroid 2, Samus Return, I believe. And I know they've remastered it here recently for the DS. But I would like to continue on with the Metroid series, and of course having the second one and the third one in the franchise is pretty cool. And of course, the first Metroid game I actually ever played through, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned it, was Metroid Fusion. And I had original DS, like Founders Edition DS, Professor Layton in the first or DS slot, and Metroid Fusion in the Game Boy Advance, because you could play both games at the time. But somehow, some way, this is the first time I actually have ever lost anything. It made me really sad for a long time. But I finally picked up another Metroid Fusion cartridge. So we have all of the first 4 Metroid games all together back again. Well, united for the first time for me. I've played these games separately. I've borrowed them, I've rented them, and such like that, but I've never actually truly owned them, which, you know, it's fine. But, you know, it dawned on me here recently, like, I don't know, I've just been in the mindset, like, every games, or all the games I've owned, up until, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, I guess, would be the best way to put it. I mean, I haven't marked it on the calendar, so I don't know exactly. But my parents used to buy me the video games, and I mean, that's with anybody. But I guess I never left the mindset that I could go online and I could buy video games myself. I am big boys now. I can go to Walmart and buy all the candy, and I can buy me video games, and I can sit on the couch and, you know, be a nerd, or lazy, or whatever. I don't remember what this sucker is. I guess it is. It's just kind of interesting. I've seen it in the dimensions of a box. I thought it was a hair bit bigger, but it isn't, which is fine. It is perfectly okay. I actually own a couple consoles. It's just this one was like super gently used, and it was for a good deal, so I didn't want to pass it up. They have a mini, which, you know, I've never owned, but I might get if the price is right. But essentially brand new. Was like not refurbished, but rebuilt. It is the cleanest, freshest looking Super Nintendo I've actually ever owned. I did not own one of these new. I owned the original Nintendo new. In fact, I still have my original box. for my original Nintendo and all that cool stuff. But to get my hands on a original Nintendo or Super Nintendo in pristine condition, really, like the ones I owned were yellowed with time, and of course it came with a controller and the necessary things, accessory wise, to play it. Controller's a little beat up, but you know, it's actually the gray that it's intended to be instead of the yellowed that mine are and have yellowed over the years. But to kind of show you that Super Game Boy, which I mean obviously doesn't take rocket science to figure it out, but I thought it was an amazing concept when I was a kid. The fact that you could play Game Boy games on your Super Nintendo on the big screen was fascinating, and I know they kind of carried that over the years. The N64 had Pokemon, or it was a Game Boy thing that you could import your Pokemon characters onto, and then the GameCube had the GameCube Advance. But this is everything all one big old box, which is interesting. I didn't think it was going to show up like this, but it did, and I'm happy it did. So now I've got more games to play for you guys. Like I've said before in the past, I mean, I know I use ROMs and stuff to get the game up on the screen because I don't have a way to do it. I just need to break down and buy a composite to HDMI so I can actually play the actual console itself. But I only play games that I physically own a copy to. I don't go on my way and play games that I don't own a copy to. I know it's kind of a gray area. I know I've said this before, but for my conscious sake, you know, everyone does their own thing. But as long as like I own the game, you know, it'd be no difference than me having a converter to play the original game compared to a digital version that I can put on the screen so you guys can see me play. You know, I could be wrong in that thinking, but it lets my conscience rest at ease when I do that. But anyways, yeah, I think that's everything. But hopefully you guys found this interesting. Got some new games. I mean, they're old, but they're new to me. I'm curious to see who you play in Castlevania 4. I mean, I know it's not Simon. Maybe it's still Trevor Belmont, but who knows. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, let me know. Hit that like button. Leave me a comment. If there's like an old Nintendo game or NES game or Sega game or whatever that you guys remember playing as a kid, or if you simply want to see me play it on my channel, let me know and I'll look into it. As long as it isn't too expensive, yeah, I'll look into getting it, because there's some NES games, 64 games, stuff that are just like way up there. Like Bubble Buddy 2 is like $400, which is insane because I have the original Bubble Buddies, but not Bubble Buddies 2. I don't remember actually renting Bubble Buddies 2 from the game store. I've rented 1 and then 2, but never thought they'd ever be that much. But anyways, thanks again, guys, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Later, guys.